Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Spending Time with Gregory. I came out tonight to do some work on the boat, clean it, work on the batteries. But I got kind of, what would I say? I got a lot of mosquitoes, and I'm feeling kind of tired. I had a real good week. Went to my regular job, went to my internship, and made a couple of videos, as you guys saw earlier in the week. Talked about health and fitness. I talked about juicing and how important it is to, have a healthy diet, healthy fitness, self-care, taking care of yourself, being nice to people that you meet. I try to do that on a day-to-day basis. I used to be this real hard guy. I didn't want to really, show my, how would I say it, soft side. And I always had this, hard face. And now, when I meet people today, I just, talk to them, and I try to be nice. And in social work, they got this where you meet people where they at, and when you meet people on the street, and you meet people in the supermarket, and you meet people wherever you go, you meet them where they at, because everybody's got their own issues that they deal with on a day-to-day basis. And I have mine, my family members have theirs, and a lot of the friends that I have, they have their own issues that they deal with. But a lot of my friends that I associate with are pretty much good to people. They talk to people, and they're pretty much good to people. I guess, I wouldn't hang around anyone that I felt like was really mean to, people that they meet, because I'm not mean to people that I meet. Like I said, hopefully in the future I can get real technically savvy with this video camera and take you places that I go, and show how I move around, how I interact, how I like the outdoors. But this is a nice evening. I hope you guys are having a nice evening. I hope you guys were nice to somebody this week. It's important to be nice to people, man. Nice, regardless of where they're at, be nice to them. I try to do that on a day-to-day basis. I guess that's one of the sticklers in spending time with Greg, being nice to people. That's like a mantra, as they would say. When I started changing my life, I started doing things that I didn't normally do. I started doing yoga. I started doing meditation. I started, meeting people that are doing positive things, because for so many years I dealt with people that were doing negative things, and I thought that was okay. I had friends that were doing negative things, and since they were my friends for life, I thought it was okay for me to still be around them because they were my friends. But the things that they were doing wasn't conducive to, having a positive lifestyle. And today, I pride myself on having a positive lifestyle. Now I fall short. I definitely fall short, in some places. Even with my family, I fall short. Even with some of my friends, I fall short. But every day I work on myself to be a better person, to definitely be a better person, and to treat people good. So that's important to me. What else can I talk to you guys about tonight? Because I want you to start spending time with Greg and hanging out with me. As I go through this diary of my life changing, doing things that are different, doing things that are positive, I like I said, I don't want to get into all the politics. I don't want to get into any negative conversation. I just want to keep everything positive. I don't want to debate about, what's going on in the world, which is a lot going on in the world. I see on social media, where, people are, going at it. The mosquitoes are biting me, so that's why you see me doing my hands. But, how people are going at it in this world. And, I just take a look at it, and I kind of like self-reflect, and I take a look at myself, and I ask myself, Greg, how do you feel about what's going on in the world? And that's, how I feel, not how you feel, not how I want you to feel, and not how I think you should feel. It's how I feel, and I take a look at myself, and it kind of makes me a better person, because I want to be the person that, the positive side of everything, the positive side of politics, the positive side of just everything, positive side of everything. I mean, positive relationships. In class this week we were studying intergenerational trauma. Wow, that was a powerful topic this week, and it was pretty deep. I'm not going to go into it, real deep, because it's kind of over my head. I'm learning. I'm an old guy, and I'm still trying to learn some things, educationally. So that's I think education is important, for life. As we get older, we start to. They say that you start to lose, your learning capabilities if you don't continue to try to learn things. If you just stay stagnant and don't read a book, don't watch something educational, you'll start to digress, which, I don't want to digress. I want to continue to, learn, continue to help people, continue to grow myself. Like I said, I'm at the adult developmental stage where it's, I'm at the last stage. I was early childhood, I was infancy, I was early childhood, I was middle adulthood, I was all these different stages of life. Now I'm so kind of like, I'm at the late stage of development, and it's interesting. As we start to get older, we start to feel it in our bodies. We start to feel it, on a day-to-day basis. Getting in and out of my truck, getting in and out of this boat. After a day on the water, it's like I can't even move at night. I can't even get up in the morning because of the waves and the turbulence. And when I was younger, I could jump off the roof, I could jump off the boat. But now, as I got into late adulthood, things are a little different, guys. Thank you for spending time with Greg. Look forward to spending more time with you guys. Not just me talking, but out moving around, out doing things. As soon as I get camera savvy, like I said, you'll see, me in different environments, doing different things, getting involved in other things. So guys, thank you for sharing. Have a good weekend. Have a safe weekend. And I'll see you on my next video. Thank you.